Okay, we're gonna sort that out. We're gonna get everyone over here. We've got plenty of time. We're scheduled until noon, but we actually have a very packed couple of hours. Let me just pop our agenda in chat for everyone in case you want to reference that. I'm not gonna throw that up on screen, but you've got it there in case you want to go back to it at any time. Meanwhile, good morning, everyone. So good to see so many of your faces and your names. It's been a long time since we've connected as a Floodmar network, probably 9 months or so. So thank you for taking the time to join us this morning. My name is Megan Wiley. I'm with Sacramento State University. You probably have gotten multiple emails from me or forwarded emails from me with network updates and things like that. So I have the pleasure of providing facilitation support to the network. The network is a big group of amazing folks. Right now, I think we're close to 600 on our listserv, and some folks are just kind of hanging out on the periphery, keeping their finger on the pulse, and some people are very actively involved, and that changes all the time. And so we are happy today to bring you all together and to give everyone an opportunity to share and connect, tell us what's going on with you in your space, learn from each other. We're going to use Zoom polls, we're going to use Miro boards. It's going to be very exciting. I'm getting ahead of myself and stealing my own thunder a little bit, but here we are in Zoom. Everyone is a Zoom pro now since we've had a couple of years to play around with it, but everyone is muted upon arrival, but that doesn't mean we can't talk to each other. Just a reminder that you're gonna have to take yourself off mute when we're chatting, and then please put yourself back on mute when we're done chatting. And camera's optional, of course, but so great to see smiles. We've got the chat box for us throughout the course of the day. I'm going to be sharing some links and whatnot in chat. And also, please use the chat as you like to chat with each other, to comment on presentations, to ask questions about mini presentations. We've got a series of lightning talks, for example, coming up, and updates. So if something comes up for you in the moment and you want to ask that, please feel free to use the chat, because we've got a lot of folks on the call today, members of our network coordinating team, members of our network's action team, people from different agencies and organizations and water districts, things like that. So we can use that space to communicate. It's a great space. And also, if you like, you can raise your hand and I'll see your hand come up and bring you on into the discussion queue. Also, we're going to use Miro boards. It's been a while since I've used a Miro board, so I was excited to build one out for our session. So if you want to play along, and I hope that you do, you can scan this QR code, which is very fancy. I thought it was kind of fancy, to take you to the Miro board. And then I just also put the link in chat. Let me show you what it looks like. I'm going to switch my screen shares here. Looks like this. If you did the QR code, you might have to click a second click through because it's a shortened link. It might say something like, do you want to go to this bit.ly board or something like that? Click yes, it's going to bring you here, or use the link in chat and cruise around. So we're going to go through these various frames. The first frame we'll use is this one on the left when we have our conversation about Lunchmar. Then we're going to kind of move this way to the right. You use your cursor to scroll across the board and down. Okay, these questions that we're presenting for your exploration, I'm going to reflect them on the slide deck so you'll know where we're at the right space and time, but also, cruise around, add your thoughts. What's really fun are these sticky notes. So I built out a couple of sticky notes for us. You can just grab one right here when you're ready to add your idea, your contribution, or you can grab more sticky notes from this toolbar on the left-hand side, and you can pick your color, which is really exciting. They also have these stacks, so you can just grab a note from a stack and type something, hello, yay, great. And it'll be on the board here for everyone to see. We can resize, we can move around. At the end of the workshop, I'll export all of the results and do some synthesizing and use your input to really help guide the future of network activities. You can also zoom in and out at the bottom here. So it's fun. tool around. You can tune me out and do some Miro boarding if you want, but I'm
And
gonna bring,
Megan,
yeah,
can you go back to it real quick 1 second? I want to give one more tip to everyone.
yeah, here we go.
Inside the gray drop-down arrow up there where it currently says 33, you can turn off the view of everyone else's cursors if you find them distracting.
I like to see it because I'm like, woo,
I
action's
know it is fun to see all the action, but sometimes it's a little
happening.
much.
Yeah, if you need to focus on your own thoughts there, turn it off. Thanks, Mike.
Yep.
Helpful. I'm gonna get rid of my sample sticking out there too. Cool. Okay. I'm by no means a Miro pro, so thank you for that. Okay. Um, let's just also take a moment to remind ourselves of the principles of a network. This is a nice thing that we've done throughout the course of our time together over the last 6, 7 years. Mike's going to actually say more about this, but we really function off this network principle of giving and getting. And we know that everyone has so much going on, that this is a network of volunteer people, and you all really care about this work, you're interested in the work that you do, that your colleagues are doing. And so we just really respect and appreciate that. And then, it's a volunteer network. So one of the things that makes it succeed is that folks are signing up with that enthusiasm and are offering things that they're willing to collaborate on, or contributing ideas that they're willing to take action on or follow through on. And maybe that's just like a tiny idea, or maybe it's a big grandiose idea and you want to lead an action team, you want to collaborate on a case study, or maybe you just kind of want to show up and do some chatting around a coffee one day and connect with other folks in your network. So sharing your knowledge and your superpowers is really what makes our network function. And if you like, here's just a little prompt for you. If you want to join the conversation, let us know in the chat what you might be putting on hold today so that you can be here at this workshop with us for the next couple of hours. Maybe you've got a deadline, maybe you've got kids on spring break that are entertaining themselves for a while. Maybe you had to, squeeze in a really quick dog walk so you could be here on time. So your birthday, oh my God, Wednesday, Wendy, happy birthday. Very exciting. I hope you have amazing Friday plans for this. Woo, Daniel, your day off. Dedicated members. Thanks for being here, everyone. Okay, plan for today. We are going to talk for 5-10 minutes about setting the stage. Mike Antos from Stantec, one of our coordinating team members, is going to give us a little history of the network, kind of where we were and where we're going. Then we're going to do some highlights, share out with you all about recent network activities and collaborations, really let you know what's been going on with lunch bars, action teams. And then I'm really particularly excited about this session where we're highlighting project and research highlights from network members. So we're calling these lightning talks. So we've got about 6 or 7 of those for you. And also along the way, we're going to be using Miro boards so that you can share out what you're doing as well and contribute. And then really important, this year is a forum year. So every other year, our network does our marquee event where we come together. We call it the Network Forum. We're in person, usually, except for COVID year. And we do presentations and panel discussions and roundtables and brainstormings and things like that. And really, the design of that event and the topics we explore are informed by what's important to you all. So we have a survey that was out and live, and we're going to look at those outputs together. And then this is another place to really kind of design what that form might look like together. And then we'll close out, and then everyone gets the rest of the day off after this. We're gonna celebrate Wendy's birthday. It's gonna be great. Okay, so Mike is up
Yeah,
first.
hi everybody. Thanks, Megan. Hi everybody, Mike Antos. As Megan said, I'm here at Stantec. I've been here about 6 years. Prior to that, I was at Santa Ana Watershed Project Authority, which is where I first got introduced to FloodMar, where I was invited to be part of the Research Advisory Committee. And so it's been really exciting to be part of this for quite a while now and engaging with all of you, as this network was first imagined by the Research Advisory Committee and then implemented by all of you. So the network really formed in 2019, and it's this idea that the network was needed to help achieve this idea that flood-mar as a climate adaptation, where you're solving one problem with another problem, needed a group of people from many disciplines, many perspectives, many interests, all sorting out how to work together and advancing it. And it has been a story of great success. The rapid change of only a few people doing it in 2016 to a whole ton of people doing it in 2025 is a story that this network has been central to. So can I get the next slide? So the timeline is an impressive one. That the public forum in November 2017, where the conversation about managed groundwater recharge to support Sigma, sustainable groundwater management, was really the first time that a broad audience came together on this. The white paper in 2018 laid out the need and the potential of this water resources management strategy and what it might take for the state to incentivize it across multiple different dimensions. And that led to the Research Advisory Committee and many falling birthday cakes over in the chat. So the Research Advisory Committee then did its work alongside the first forum event back in 2019, really exploring all the things that needed to be uncovered and thought through to move flood-mar forward. And that's where science and socioeconomics and policy all started becoming unearthed, all the various dimensions that needed to happen. That led to the second Biennial Network event. And this is where in 2021, where we were starting to now think through what were we collectively across the whole network were thinking through what are the important things to do first, what are the dependencies, what things have to go before other things go, what are the right ways to get this going forward. And then, of course, by the third biennial in November 2023, it was really a celebration of all the progress that had been made. There was a lot of activity going on. That was right in the middle of one of the wettest years on record in California, and everybody was scrambling to take advantage of everything that had been learned here and the opportunities of that winter. And of course, we're going to see everyone, we're all going to get together again at the end of this year. Next slide. And so the network, as Megan said, has grown to 600 people on the mailing list, and they are each representative of at least 600 different entities. And there go the birthday cakes again. Whoever started that, you got it going. So we've got state agencies represented, universities, local public agencies, tribal communities and governments, federal agencies, managers of lands, both public and private. There's nonprofits involved, businesses are involved, growers are involved, research institutions are involved. The network has grown in an incredible way as people really recognized the value in this give-get philosophy, where you bring what you've got as a strength and everybody else does the same. You come in with your ideas and you walk away with everyone else's, and it is of a huge benefit to work in this way. Next slide. And so those of you who have been around a while will recognize this graphic, this idea that the network is an amalgam of everyone bringing what they can and going away with what they gain. And there are people who sit towards the center. As Megan said, there's some coordinating team members, among which I sit, that have been central to this for quite a while and really engaged with what both flood-mar and with the network. And there are others that adopt central locations and initiatives and action teams, advisory teams, learning circles. There's all sorts of focused activity that grows out of these network relationships that we've all established. And then, of course, there are folks who are here, just as Megan said, keeping their finger on the pulse, out towards the periphery, still network members watching and listening and learning. And in this way, everyone is bringing what they can and leaving with what they earn, and the network has prospered over these years. I think maybe I have one more. Oh yeah, I do. And so what do we do? And I'm often very cautious about using the we, but in this case, I'm really excited to use it because it is a word that encompasses all of us here today and everyone that's in the network. And everyone is doing some of these things with some of the others in the network. And we connect each other's ideas. We coordinate amongst each other together as a whole, but also through relationships as just a couple of us or just a few of us. We've definitely built each other's knowledge. All of us have learned from each other. I have learned a great deal about the agricultural part of Floodmar that I did not know before I became part of the network. We've developed really significant partnerships. So members of the network have stepped away from this space to then do things together that they might not have done if they hadn't met here. And so those partnerships have been really prosperous. We've identified opportunities. The 2023 story is an extraordinary one of opportunities taken that this network had, identified. We've supported the change of policies and practices across the state. There's all sorts of pilot projects that might not have existed had the network not had these relationships and had this momentum. There's new data being collected and analyzed. There's new models being built and used, and there's new infrastructure on the landscape serving this purpose of solving floods with recharge that may not have existed had this network not been moving this forward. Next slide. So the network has a vision of itself and a foundation for collaboration. And now the network and the coordinating committee is really excited to, lean towards all of you and say, let's keep this going. Let's think about our next set of actions. Where does the network go next in the work that it's doing? And you can see there's some chats going on where Mega's dropping resources. There's been a lot of looking backwards reports and thinking that we've done lately, which has been really, I've been proud to be part of those documents, helping the network really show everyone else its successes and support itself by saying, like, look at all that we have accomplished. And I think there's a strong foundation for now saying, like, we have a strong foundation. We've accomplished a lot. Now what? What do we want to do next? With excitement, what do we want to do next? We have lots of ways that we connect. There's the monthly Lunchmar presentations, and I treasure the Lunchmar. I suspect there are others here too. It is playful in its title because it is light but impactful in the way that it pursues its work. It is a fun way to gather, to learn from each other about things that may or may not be central to our work. I really enjoyed years ago, and my understanding is it's still our most watched YouTube recording of doing a Beavermar Lunchmar, where we had some beaver experts come in and talk to us about how the ecosystem impacts of beavers might actually provide a recharge and flood mitigation capacity. And so we do playful but meaningful things at Lunchmar. There are and have been many action teams, groups of members of the network who have gathered together to take action on some particular subject. And those are a powerful way that the network has contributed to the effort. There's the workshops like today and the forums that you've heard about. And then of course there's the Floodmar website, which is a labor of love from the network. It is not doesn't have a huge backstop. There's no big entity making sure it exists or it's populated with information. It's something that everyone here has seen the value in contributing to it so that others can benefit from our collective knowledge. And so what the network has been is a story of success. What we are today is a powerful representation of everything that's been achieved and a huge amount of potential energy for what comes next. Next slide. I think it's not me anymore.
I think it's not you anymore. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Um, yeah, rounds of applause, hands clapping in the chat here. I think that was a really excellent way to get us going. And if folks wanted to comment or jump in or reflect on anything that Mike said, you're welcome to raise your hand and you can come off mute and share or use the chat. But until then, until I see something, I'm just going to kind of move us along because again, we'll be using Miro boards and things like that. So we're going to roll into a session on recent network activities and collaborations. I'm going to share a little bit on here, and we also have some network coordinating team members you're going to hear from them as well. So first I'm going to tell you about Lunch Mars because yay, Lunch Mars. Mike just set me up perfectly for this. And Lunch Mars are the first Wednesday of every month, except for January most often, because sometimes it's like, the 1st of January. Nobody's at the office yet. We meet over the lunch break from 12:30 to 1:30, and I suspect that many people are eating lunch while they're listening to a Lunch Mar talk. And we've been doing these since 2020. And as Mike indicated, it's such a good place to share and learn and, tell people what's going on, connect your work to their work, or just learn about something new and interesting. And a lot of connections have come from this. And, people have shared contact information and have built relationships and work together moving forward in the future. So we still have a lot of momentum going there. We're going to keep going with those lunch Mars. But first, a Zoom poll. So I want to know, here it comes up on your screen. Have you been to a Lunchmar? Your options are yes, I'm a Lunchmar regular, save me a seat. Yes, I've dropped in for a few. Just once so far, you're testing the waters. Not yet, but it's definitely on your list. Tragically, you've been booked every single Wednesday from 12:30 to 1 o'clock. And you've never been able to do a live show, but you've caught some of the reruns, our recordings on YouTube. We've got a lot of regulars, and we've got a lot of people who popped in for a few. I'm going to share the poll results here in a moment, but let's leave it open for another 5 seconds or so. All right, 3, 2, 1. Let's see, share results. Got 12 regulars. Excellent. 20% of our cohort today is a Lunch My Regular, and over half have dropped in for a few. For those of you who have not yet attended, I'm going to tell you what's coming up next, and maybe you'll be able to join us one time this year. Okay, so back to our program here. There is the library of recordings, as once more, Mike had pointed to this. It's at our website, floodmar.org/video-gallery. This is just a screenshot of what it looks like. We've had 45 sessions to date. Jenny, actually, if I could ask you, could you put the link to our YouTube repository directly in chat for folks? If you go to this page on our Floodmar website, video galleries, and you scroll down, obviously I can't scroll down because I'm showing you a screenshot right now, but there's a link down there that says show the full library of Lunchmar recordings. We host them on our YouTube channel, so you can scroll through all the different sessions. Thank you, Jenny. And, check out that Beavermar recording or any of these other talks. We've talked about basin characterization. We've talked about soil health and recharge. We've talked about case studies. There's a whole plethora of topics on here. So coming up in just a week, next week, we've got expanding FIRO, so forecast informed reservoir operations from the Army Corps for potential there. And then in May 7th, it's increasing groundwater recharge capacity in Southern San Joaquin Municipal Utility District. That's a case study. And then also in June, not quite a case study, but 8 years of demonstration testing. So of removal of suspended solids and water quality improvements from riverbed filtration. And then July 2nd, which is a Wednesday, of course, regenerative ag and Lunchmar. We're moving forward with July because I don't think people are taking off that week. They'll probably take off July 4th, which is Friday. So you can kind of round out your week with a July Lunchmar session. And then on August 6th, we'll have an overview of the groundwater accounting platform in collaboration with the California Water Data Consortium. And there's actually, they gave us a talk about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And so this is an update to the groundwater accounting platform and an introduction if you haven't been there yet. So a lot of good things coming up. And then later we'll have the schedule for September through the end of the calendar year. I also would like to use this time to direct us back to our Miro board, actually. Let me put the Miro board link back in the chat for you in case you just joined. And I'm going to switch over screen share here and show you where I would like us to go to this frame 1, Lunchmar topics. I turned off folks' cursors, so it's not too distracting. But if you click over to Miro and you're interested to contribute, our first question for you are, what topics would you like to hear about at future Lunchmar sessions? So if you've got something that you've heard about that you're interested to learn more in, please go ahead and grab a sticky note, either from the board here or from the pile on the left. Add your ideas. Secondly, if you are interested to present your work at a future Lunchmar, we are always looking for presenters. Please go ahead and use this second frame with your presenter information. And let me know who you are so that I know to follow up with you. I should be able to get your email quite easily from the registration link. So if you just give me your name and affiliation and a short snippet of the topic that you're interested to present, that would be extremely helpful. Awesome. I see folks clicking away over there. All right, take your time. I did have a slide deck to prompt this for us, just in case I forgot to click us over to the Miro board, but fortunately I remembered. So our Miro board activities, these two-part questions, frame 1 and frame 2. What topics would you like to hear about during future Lunchmars, and would you like to present your work at a future Lunchmar? Okay, keep thinking about that. Also, if Miro is not your jam and you want to still share your thoughts or ideas, go ahead and use meeting chat. Or if either of those is not your jam and you want to share, take yourself off mute, raise your hand, let us know. Okay, up next. So that's Lunchmars. That's a thing. That's a regular thing. We're meeting monthly. We usually get somewhere between 70 and 120 people on those sessions. It's really great. We're also doing work in action teams. If you've been around with the network for a while, you've heard the term action teams before. Action teams started to crystallize into being towards the end of 2023. We did, well, kind of mid 2023, and then we started getting going with these action teams really just before the fall 2023 forum event. So that was a little, not quite a kickoff at the forum event. They had met up once or twice and started to do some initial thinking, but then they shared out at the forum event and expanded their reach. We've got 6 action teams. Action teams are voluntary groups. Some of these groups have maybe 6 or 8 people. Some of them have about 15 people. They're open to everyone if you're interested, but there's more engagement involved here. Each of these action teams kind of has its own tempo. They are deciding collaboratively as a group what projects that they want to focus on through the calendar year. If they wanted to do something collaboratively, do a project or an initiative together, or if they just want to be a space of dialogue and information exchange, they kind of decide for themselves how frequently they're interested to meet. Each of these action teams has what we call an anchor, so a key person that's kind of helping to keep that continuation, keep that momentum going. And I work with those anchors to help. I kind of provide the process stuff, the scheduling and note taking and things like that. So they are supported. And here's the topics. We've got teams on assessing policy, estimating recharge, incentives for recharge, in-stream flows, water quality, and a team for the Floodmar Hub, which is the website. So we just have one slide for each of these 6 teams, and we want to let you all know what the teams are focused on and what they're up to for this calendar year. I am not exactly sure how many of the action team anchors were available today, but I will see, just kind of check in and see if anyone from the action teams wants to speak to these slides, and we're going in alphabetical order. The first one is assessing policy. The action team anchor is Charles Delgado with Sustainable Conservation. I don't think Charles was able to make it today. Is anyone who participated on the assessing policy action team interested to speak to this slide? No pressure, if not. Okay, if you're in one of the other action teams and you know that you might want to share, because otherwise you're hearing from me all the time, be ready. But let me tell you what's up with assessing policy. And folks, anyone on this action team is welcome to add to it after I give a quick overview. This is a different type of action team than some of the others. They're really kind of keeping their finger on the pulse on current legislation and exploring ways to leverage opportunities and or address barriers for effective state support and coordination. There's a number of folks who participate in this action team that I mean, this is what they do. They track legislation, or their legal counsel, or this is the area that they're immersed in. We have met 2 times, I think, this calendar year. And we've got meeting scheduling in process, and the group really has decided for this calendar year that the best use of this action team is to really facilitate regular information exchange on relevant policy developments. There's a number of different policies, and right now is the legislative cycle. So things that people are tracking that might have different levels of interest depending on your perspective, if you're working for an agency or an organization, for example, academia. So it's a nice place just to kind of to share and really keep each other informed and engaged on what's evolving related to flood policy. Folks know that, since the banner wet year, several executive orders were issued. And so, this group tracked and followed those, and in some instances responded as individuals. The next meeting, we're in the middle of a scheduling effort right now. We should be able to select this date hopefully by today, actually, or Monday at latest. So we'll meet again in mid-April, and we will be discussing the advocacy process and the budget. So, the time is right for that. If this sounds interesting to you and you want to join the if you want to join the action team, or you just want to learn more about the action team, you can sign up on our Miro board. It's frame 3. So just scroll across to the right. Frame 3 is action teams. Okay, assessing policy group. Anything else? Okay, move along. Interrupt me if you like. Estimating recharge. So estimating recharge anchor is Graham Fogg. Graham is on vacation in Maui. Lucky Graham. But there's a couple people who have been doing some work on this action team that are on. Brian, did you want to speak to this, or I could go? You could get us a start. Okay, I'm going to give us a start here. This group seeking ways to identify the best approaches for the estimation of recharge, and actually they've made a lot of advancements in some materials development. Their goal, which they set last year, was to produce a fact sheet, or maybe even 2, on estimating amounts of water diverted for recharge. So they've got a couple drafts going, and I think they're going to split it out, if I'm not mistaken, into 2 fact sheets, depending on the person, the intended audience, excuse me. And this group hasn't yet met this year because the writing was happening in the background. And I think the meeting to review these fact sheets and move forward with them is probably going to get scheduled for April or May. What is nice is that we've got this fall time forum event, dates still to be determined. We want to hear a little bit from you all in a couple little further along in our session here today, but we're looking at like mid to late October or early first week of November. So that's a nice goalpost for these action teams if they're going to make some moves so that they can report out in the forum coming up later this fall. Okay, incentives for recharge. I know I've got Sam on. Sam, you want to take this one away?
Yeah, sure. Let me turn on my camera for my 10 seconds of fame. Maybe it's not working. That's fine. So yeah, incentives for recharge. Our main goal is to kind of expand the information available, particularly through the Floodmar website. We want to kind of develop a information sharing kind of comprehensive list or inventory of those incentives that different agencies or districts are offering, as well as technical assistance or support programs that can be used to help with Floodmar implementation. So like we said, the goals and products, we kind of have an existing list that hasn't been updated for a while. So we met a couple of weeks ago to kind of gauge some interest of the group for continuing to develop that list and bring in kind of external knowledge from that original group that put that together. So we're looking forward to that. And then eventually getting that published on the Floodmar website and making it accessible. So our last meeting had kind of an awkward, abrupt ending, but we are going to have another one mid to late April. So looking forward to seeing everyone there, or those who are interested there, and then continue to advance this throughout the year.
Thanks, Sam. I think this is going to be really exciting when it does go live, and hopefully we'll be able to debut that come forum events. Okay, in-stream flows. In-stream flows is Jason Weiner with ESA, but he is also on vacation this week. There's a couple of folks on in-stream flows. Anyone want to speak to this? Any group members, action team members? Oh, whose hand is up? Gretchen. Yay, thank you, Gretchen.
No one else is willing to. I can. I'm not sure who else is there. So we've had a couple of chats in the group about sort of what we were looking at and what we want to do. Our last meeting, we discussed sort of a grand idea that Jason had and working on narrowing it down. But most of what we're looking towards now is to assess water availability using 90/20 versus alternative criteria, and we're mostly looking at SAF, but probably also going to consider the high flow diversion chances as well, because while doing SAF, we're going to have to identify high flow thresholds anyway, so might as well. So that is what we're working towards. We still haven't quite figured out how we're going to go about it, but we're getting there.
Awesome. Ambitious group. It's so great. Thanks, Gretchen.
We're trying.
Okay, and if you want to be involved in this scheduling effort, again, sign up on the Miro board or sign up in chat. Or if you have my email, email me. Okay, water quality. Scott Bradford is the action team anchor. I saw Scott log in, but Scott's not on right now, as far as I can tell. But there's a couple people, other water quality action team members. Anyone want to speak to this, water quality action team members? Okay. Oh, Sarah, did you come off mute a second?
Sure, I can. So the Water Quality Action Team has had one meeting so far this year. Last year we were working on a guidance document related to the impacts of managed aquifer recharge and water quality, and that didn't. We do have a fairly fleshed out outline, but we're still working on it. And Sustainable Conservation has a technical advisory committee that's focused on creating a tool to look at potential contaminants in an area before conducting managed aquifer recharge. And we are coordinating the actions of the water quality action team and this technical advisory committee and trying to make sure that the guidance documents produced address different topics so that we're not repeating work. And we have another meeting scheduled towards the end of April. And yeah, we would love to have more people join up with us as well. And if anyone else wants to fill anything in from the team, please do.
Thank you, Sarah. Okay. And our last team, this was not in alphabetical order, but I just saved the website for last because it's different than the other ones. But we do consider the folks who dedicate time to developing the website an action team. Again, we call it the Floodmar Hub. That's floodmar.org. And what we're doing for this year is really just to continue to build it out as resources and projects come in. It's a shared repository that is built by you all as network members. I'm going to give you a fly through of the website in a quick second. And we're also looking for some fiscal sponsorship so that we can increase our server speed. So it's really, it's not super fast, the website. I'll just warn you if you've never been there. But it is really a beautiful place, and please don't be dismayed if it takes an extra 30 seconds or 60 seconds to load. There's a lot of good content there. But if you're interested, your organization or agency is interested to maybe provide some fiscal sponsorship so that we can bolster it and make the website more responsive, please contact me. Oops, sorry, went the wrong way there. Zoom poll time. We have 3. This is 2 of 3. Let's see. Tell me, have you ever visited the Floodmar Hub before? Yes, it's bookmarked in your brain. You go there all the time. Yes, you've scoped it out. Maybe, I don't know, probably. Someone's directed me there before. Or not yet, but I'm on my way right now as we speak. Let's see, 3 more seconds. Okay. We've got, most people have been there a couple of times, which is great. A lot of people, not a lot of people, some people have bookmarked, they go there constantly. I'm one of them. And then maybe a couple of people have poked around and not yet. And if you haven't been there, that's really exciting because we're going to check it out together real quick. And let me just give you some exciting stats because I think that this really just demonstrates how really impactful the collaborative work that you all are doing is. We pulled this statistic just a few days ago, and as of a few days ago, we have 857 active users and 834 new users. 2/3 of those are by referral. So you all have work or projects or something that's up there and you're pushing it out and telling your colleagues, and it's getting passed around, which is awesome. And then most of the other third is just by email. So usually that's probably coming from something I've sent out. And a couple of other people find us on Google search. Most people are in the United States, but if you break it down, it's not all in California. So we're California focused group, but there's a lot of folks who are outside of California. And then there's a couple of international users as well. And I did actually, I was doing some communication with folks who were exchange students from other countries, and they've gone to UC Davis or they've gone to another university and they're working on some Floodmar issues and bringing some of the work that you all are doing back to their areas as case studies and examples and learning. 1 second, we're almost at the Miro board here, but let me just bring up Safari. So if you've not been to the Floodmar Hub, that's not the homepage. Here's the homepage. This is what it looks like when you sign in. We've got some nice imagery that's been contributed by some of our network members. So we try to put upcoming events here on the front page. So you'll see today's workshop listed there, and here's a link to the Celebrating 5 Years of Floodmar. And then you scroll down and it gives some basic information about what is Floodmar and what is the network and things like that. If you go to projects, I think it's always worth reminding folks of this because it's so great. It's such an amazing resource. This is a compendium of Floodmar projects throughout California, maybe a few that are even outside of California, that you all have been doing. And here's a little kind of a little library, a little preview of all of these different projects, and you can scroll through them and get a little image. You can get a little summary. You can click through and then get more information. There is also a searchable library somewhere. I'm not sure if you go to all projects, but you also can go to add a project. See what I mean? It's a little slow, but we will not be dismayed. So if you're doing some cool Floodmar work and you want it featured up here, you want it searchable, go ahead and fill this out. It's not too long or onerous. We just are looking for your contact information, and you upload a description of your project, a thumbnail image if you have it, or a recording if you have it, a slide deck if you have it. Let us know, is it research, guidance, tools, reference, and the topics of topical areas it covers. There's real people, including myself and a few other people who are on this, that go through and just look and make sure it's not like a robot that's filling it out, and approve it and post it up on the website. And then resources, this is also excellent. So you can click all resources, but you can also filter through guidance documents that people have developed, research that people have done or are in the process of conducting, tools and data, references, and then all of our recordings. So click around here. There's a lot here. In the Floodmar recordings, it's not just lunch Mars that are on there, but our workshops, like today's, will get posted up there. Also, the recordings from the forum events, the 2023 forum event, it's all parsed out into different panelists and speaker presentations and things like that, so you can look at what you're interested in. There's so much here. This is really, I think, such a beautiful, beautiful collection of work that you all are doing. And then finally, let me just show you what Get Involved looks like. This is the page that I go to mostly because I am updating what's happening with Lunch Mars. But if you're looking at the who we are here, let me just give a shout out to the network coordinating team members. These are the folks who really help kind of guide and hone where we're focusing our efforts over the course of the year. And it's a volunteer. So if you're interested to join the coordinating team, reach out. We'd love to induct you into our coordinating team. And then a quick description of the 6 action teams that we just went through. And then bam, right here in the middle of the page, here's where you get a preview of what's coming up for the Lunchmar sessions. So we always keep this as up to date as possible with the presentation title, the presenter, and a little sneak peek. I know I didn't give you that sneak peek on the website or the slide that I showed because it was a little wordy, but you can find out more here. Okay. Over to our Miro board, if you like, scrolling across here to frames 3 and 4. Frame 3, it's green. Do you have a near-term priority action that is not represented by an action team? If so, what is it? Let us know. If you're interested to join, let us know too. Someone put here, should we consider a FIRO action team? I'm so glad you did. There was a FIRO group that was pretty active for a while throughout 2023, and then culminated in a workshop, like a 3-hour workshop in June, I think it was, of 2024. And then folks had some work that they wanted to do, and the time might be right to get folks together again to reconvene that FIRO action team. So if you're interested in that, put your name up here or put your name in chat. Let me know, because I can, do some bringing people together. Frame 4, as you're poking around floodmar.org, let us know. We want to figure out how to make this better, how to make it more useful for you all. What do you look for when you're visiting the hub? Is something missing that you want us to see added? So let us know, because it's ever evolving and we're building it out, and we've got some volunteers here. Steve Glass was one of the first people on the webinar this morning, and Steve's been helping us with some back end work. We've got Yara, we've got Meredith, we've got Kirsten. So tell us, we're here to make it as best for the network as we can. All right, back to slide deck. Okay. Now, finally, people are done hearing from me for like a half an hour at least, right? Good. So project and research highlights from network members. We're going to go into our series of lightning talks. Folks are going to talk for 4 or 5 minutes, give us the scoop on what they've been working on. And as they're talking or sharing, if you've got questions for the presenters, please feel free to use the chat, because they can respond to you when they're done presenting, when the next person comes up. Or if we have some time, we can take a couple Q&A verbally as well. So Marisa Perez with Stantec is going to start us off.
Hello there. Thank you, Megan. My name is Marisa Perez. I work with Stantec. Here to share a little bit of an update about the Floodmar Research and Data Development Plan evaluation that has been in progress and is about to be released fairly soon. Go ahead to the next slide. All right, so you may recall in the brief introduction we had to the history of the Floodmar Network, there was a mention there of the Research Advisory Committee group, which was convened by DWR in 2019 around 13 different research themes. So the Floodmar Research and Data Development Plan is sort of the culmination of the work of the RAC to explore the interrelated and complicated challenges and opportunities that were presented by Floodmar as a practice. And so the original plan that was put out in 2019, I'm going to copy into the chat here a link for you. That original plan identified 39 priority actions. So each thematic area got to pick their top 3. So that plan was put out in 2019. And last year was sort of the 5-year mark of that plan being put together. So the department decided it would be worthwhile to sort of pull together the former RAC co-chairs and the DWR support staff that had been engaged in the process of putting together that original document to reflect on what had been accomplished in the past 5 years toward achieving those 39 priority actions. So the process that we went through for this evaluation was, pulling together that group of people to sort of reflect on the successes that have been achieved, maybe some of the continued challenges, and to document the accomplishments and the activities that are underway. So you can go ahead to the next slide. So the evaluation document is, I've just put into the chat the original 2019 plan. The evaluation document is not out yet. It will be put out fairly soon. So that the thing you see on the side is a screenshot of a rough draft there. So the content of the plan, essentially we have a bit of each of the chapters on the research themes includes an introductory section that explains sort of the context for the research areas nexus to Floodmar, a summary of the priority actions that were identified in the 2019 plan. That's what that table is that you see on the left side. And then the sort of the meat of the evaluation is the evaluation of progress on the right side there. So for each of the priority actions, we've got sort of reflections on whether it appeared according to our evaluation that the action had been completed, maybe it was in progress, maybe there were components of it that were in progress, or there were very few cases where we couldn't determine whether it had been started yet. So, and that's really the compendium, that's the real value of this evaluation, is sort of the aggregation of the links to the resources that have either been completed or links to activities that are in progress. And cool point here is that the evaluation has links to over 60 resources. So that's pretty exciting. Go ahead to the next slide. And the last one, which is just to note that in the evaluation, we found that 7 were fully complete, 22 are in progress. So some of those things that you might consider complete are actually activities that will continue into perpetuity. And so that's why we say they're in progress, because they will continue. And 3 have not been started, according to what we were able to understand. 5 contain a portion of elements that have not been undertaken. So that's when there would be, a very what there are some of these priority actions had a lot of components associated with them, especially the water quality chapter is a good example of that, where there were a lot of different research themes that were called out. So in some cases, work had been accomplished, in other cases, not as much. And then 2 were of uncertain status. So the full evaluation report will be available soon. Keep your eyes out for that. I think it's a very exciting way to reflect on how far the research and data development side of FloodMAR application has come along.
Thanks, Marisa. May we pause for just a second to see if there's any questions for you? If anyone else wants to speak to this? Got a couple folks clapping. It's a pretty cool accomplishment. Okay. If something comes up for you, don't be afraid to use chat. I think people are just kind of having a nice casual Friday in learning mode. All right, Jordan, you're up next.
Thank you, Megan. Pleasure being here today. This is I'm fairly new to my position with Dunnigan Water District, and I didn't realize all these amazing resources and collaboration were out here. So really excited to get more involved here. So Dunnigan Water District was able to take advantage of diversions under California Water Code 1242.1. And if you can go to the next slide, I'd like to share our experience with that. Oh, I'm glad you included this slide. So originally 1242.1 we were super excited about, but there was a real challenge, and the director of the YOLO GSA where we operate, I actually identified that no local flood plan as the water code described even existed in California yet. And so while we were scrambling to check all the boxes to meet the diversion criteria, the executive order in 1625 came out, which suspended the need for that specific plan, and which was great because my primary district, I work for Reclamation District 108, and we are the levee maintaining agency for the levee that you see in the photo on the screen, and we have trigger elevations. And so when we were experiencing flooding on one side of the Calusa Basin drain, and we sent out notice that that was going on, we were able to meet all of the criteria under the executive order and the water code. So go ahead and go to the next one. So we really kind of set ourselves up to meet the diversion criteria first and picked a location to pump from second. And this really fell onto our laps kind of at the last minute, but Dunnigan Creek is a contributing stream to the Calusa Basin drain. And the Calusa Basin drain was overflowing, and a grower was using their pump to recirculate stormwater around their property. And it dawned on us one day, hey, with just by opening a gate, you can let water into your pump from Dunnigan Creek, and we can really expand on the recharge efforts that you're doing. And so we partnered with the landowner on the ground highlighted in white to flood about 275 acres. We think we got about 1 acre foot per acre out, and that was on rice fields and habitat ground shown in the image here. And then finally, the next slide, just a little bit about our results. So we've got about 275 acre feet diverted from Dunnigan Creek in just this 9 or 10 day window. And we're big shout out to Erica Haight and Katie from Stantec. They were nimble and willing to support our efforts, and hopefully reimbursing the costs of that additional pumping through the FDRE grant that Dunnigan has. And we saw growth in the groundwater levels. So it was raining during this period, and like I said, there was also pumping going on before and after, just of the grower recirculating the stormwater, intending to recharge with that water. And so obviously the groundwater level increases that we see here can't be totally attributed to our recharge action, but it certainly didn't decline, as we see later in the month when that pumping stopped. So super exciting. As far as I'm aware, we were one of only 2 entities in the state that were able to use the water code diversion so far. So I hope that we can inspire others to take advantage of this. And I mean, I'd love to give a couple more shout outs. I mean, TNC introduced us to Floodmar and has been a great partner for us. Jenny Marr and I talked in my early time in this position about the water code diversions rather than going after a temporary permit. So I mean, it's been awesome having resources, and I look forward to collaborating more. So yeah, that's what I've shared. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
That's great. Thanks, Jordan. I hadn't heard about this yet. Any questions for Jordan? Welcome to come off mute right now. Use chat. We can come back to chat. And I know I'm doing a little sneak peek here on the Miro boards, but there is a Miro board. There's 2 related to this session. One is for you to share your accomplishments. But if you scroll down and over to frame 6, there's a reflections on talk mural board. So if you see any connections between the projects that are being shared in your own work, we'd love to hear them. Or if you kind of want to connect with one of the presenters so that you can dive deeper into their lessons learned, we're going to help you make those connections. And if you have any thoughts on how insights that you might hear today help advance Floodmar implementation, we would love to gather your thoughts there on those mural boards as well. So thanks, Jordan.
Thank you.
Okay. Austin Miller.
Hello, Austin Miller with Sacramento County Department of Water Resources. We in Sacramento County have a couple different groundwater subbasins where we've been looking to expand recharge efforts for a couple of years. I think I originally attended a Floodmar Network event back in 2020. And so the recharge project that I'll talk about seemed to happen really, really fast. A kind of perfect storm of things falling into place. But really, it took a lot of pre-conversations to get there. If we can just go ahead, go to the next slide. So similar to Jordan and Dunnigan, we started talking about 1242.1 back in the October, November kind of time frame. We saw this as a potential tool to help address flood risk while encouraging groundwater recharge. In 2023, the Cosumnes River watershed was devastated by a series of flood events, much like a lot of the state, but our little watershed here was pretty devastated. And that kind of started a more collaborative effort amongst local agencies to try to find solutions. But back in October, November, when we started discussing putting together this, flood diversion plan to meet the water code, we realized that we weren't going to be able to get that through the administrative process of finishing that plan in time for this wet season. So we kind of put that on pause a little bit to look into advancing some other projects. But then when the governor's executive order came out, we thought we'd try to give it a go and see what we could make happen. And a lot of thanks to folks at California, DWR, Erica, Jenny, Mike, Stephen Springhorn, helped answer a lot of questions to get us prepared. So after the governor's executive order came out, and as our county was preparing a local proclamation, we were able to work, the Department of Water Resources, me and my team were able to work with our Office of Emergency Services to get the appropriate language, and just getting that kind of framework set up was really helpful in going out to our local partners to try to see who would be able to do some recharge kind of last minute. We reached out to local GSAs and other folks, including the Rancho Marietta CSD, who we knew already had an existing diversion point, and started playing the what if game. And they were really a great local partner. They don't currently use any groundwater. They utilize surface water from the Cosumnes River to for their community of a couple thousand homes now. But they're interested in, one, addressing emergency and flood risk type efforts, but also that connection to groundwater supply. So we were able to work with them to identify a landowner at the end of their canal system that they have that is kind of connected to this diversion point that you see on the screen. And they were able to get an agreement in place with the landowner to move that water from east of the community through the canal system and then ultimately to the agricultural fields. I think if we just go ahead and go to the next slide, please. And here's the fields on the other side of the community that the water was applied to. Kind of on the north side of the picture, there's the canal turnout. This was a really great opportunity to just kind of test the process and get people familiar with what this water is and what this water isn't. For those familiar, the 1242.1 diversions don't mean you have a right to that water. And I was really impressed that even though there was not a direct, new allocation to any folks, people were excited about this process. We are in medium and high overdraft subbasins that have some groundwater problems, but is overall not too dramatic. And I think people see that if we can continue to find the low-hanging fruits and positive efforts like this, it will allow us to not go down a path of more restrictive groundwater use. And so we didn't have any incentive dollars to work with the landowner or the diverter. It was kind of everybody just agreeing to the shared mission that we have and have been working on for the last couple of years. And we hope to expand this effort. We had this site that was kind of perfect right now, but there's a few other key locations that we'd like to look at for potential future diversion points. And we'll be putting together that full plan as required by 1242.1 this summer. And we were collecting the data from these past events. Rancho Marietta was able to divert just about one day in February and then one day again in March for a total of about 200 acre feet. So not a major impact, but a great kind of stepping stone into more. And again, a really just great opportunity to run through the process with our Office of Emergency Services, our county council, the local reclamation district, local diverters, local landowners, going through that notification process. And it's just been really positive. So happy to answer any additional questions.
Thanks, Austin. This is another awesome success story. Also, thanks for sharing your contact info. Okay. A couple of accolades coming in for you in chat. No questions yet, though. Erica, you're up next.
Yeah, thanks, Megan. Hi, everyone. I'm Erica Haight. I'm a senior engineering geologist at DWR Sustainable Groundwater Management Office. And today I'm going to highlight the DWR's Flood Diversion and Recharge Enhancement Initiative that was mentioned earlier. So thanks for the shout out, Jordan. Next slide, please. So this initiative, as a little background, it was born in from the 2023 Tulare Lake emergency as it really quickly spun up one-time assistance for local agencies in that region for flood diversion equipment and land clearing services. Based on the challenges and the needs that we were hearing from locals and what they needed during that event, which was more ways to divert water off the waterways and more places to put it. So through this effort, we were able to support 30 temporary pump rentals, which diverted over a little over 11,000 acre feet of floodwater, and then cleared 291 acres of land to help ready the lands for future floodwaters, with some incidental recharge benefits out of that. So based on positive feedback from that initial assistance, we secured some additional one-time funding to kind of expand the effort in 2024 and launched the official 2024 Flood Diversion and Recharge Enhancement Initiative. And this time we had some consultant help from Stantec. And the primary goals of this was to, again, expand local capacity for diverting more floodwaters off waterways for flood risk reduction to vulnerable communities. And with incidental recharge benefits and some recharge enhancement, and then continuing to build local land and storage capacity to receive those floodwaters. So this time we were able to contract with 14 different local agencies throughout the state, which are hard to see, but you can kind of see the geographic distribution on the map there on the right. And this time the initiative again supported more land clearing services, temporary pump rentals, as well as purchase this time around. So agencies were able to purchase these pumps to have over a longer time frame and use in more winters. And then the activities were also expanded to include temporary conveyance improvements, as well as temporary flood and recharge basins to continue to help expand that capacity. So local agencies, most of the contracts were executed in June of 2024. And since then, local agencies have really been jumping in, utilizing the contracts. And the text on the slide here is kind of showing what's been completed to date. Over 7,500 acre feet has been diverted with multiple temporary pump purchases and rentals, and a protective screen purchase as well. 623 acres have been cleared. We have multiple recharge basins that are now operational or in progress, and over 9,000 linear feet of temporary conveyance improvements have been installed and more to come. So really exciting, and the agencies have really just really jumped on this opportunity. Next slide, please. So unfortunately, our funding for this FDRE assistance is currently exhausted. It was a one-time funding source, and so, but we are continuing to gather interest and desire for this kind of assistance should funding be available in the future. So we've developed a future interest form, which can be accessed through the QR code on the slide. And so if you or anyone you know is interested, feel free to fill that out. And additional information can be found in our FDRE brochure, which is on our DWR groundwater recharge webpage. And so in addition to the local contract, or the 14 contracts that we're working with, and with Dunnigan Water District being one, we are continuing to do local and regional outreach to groups with the goal to provide relevant recharge related information and tools that DWR has to offer, encourage local connections and collaboration, and then continue to better our understanding of the local challenges, opportunities, and needs for continued and future recharge implementation. So if you have any questions or additional information, feel free to check out our website. You can email me directly or to that recharge email that's on the slide there. Thanks.
Thanks, Erica. Daniel.
Yeah, Eric, I was wondering on the temporary conveyance, what type of systems were being deployed? Were these like surface pipelines, temporary surface pipelines, or paying for ditches? And did this allow for more land to be accessed that weren't immediately adjacent to the water conveyance, the original water source?
Yeah, so yes to almost all of that. So some of the temporary conveyance has been some temporary pipeline that has allowed access to lands that aren't adjacent to the waterway. Another one of our districts is the Friant Water Authority, and they've installed some temporary liner that increases the capacity of their canal in areas that has experienced subsidence and has some capacity loss there. So
yeah,
those have been the primary conveyance improvements that has happened through FDRE.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Folks, I've had a chance to scan the QR code, hopefully. Okay. Next up, Jim. Oh, shoot. Is Jim with us? I know he had a overlapping meeting and I was supposed to ping him in the background. No, Jim, you're here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Sorry. Woo, I had a
Can you hear me
moment
okay?
there. Okay, yes.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Megan. And good to be back with this group. A little bit of a status update on the San Joaquin Flood Managed Aquifer Recharge Watershed Studies. Go ahead, next slide. So California Department of Water Resources is working with an amazing group of creative and innovative thinking team. You can see some of those logos here of folks that are on our team, and I took a quick look through the people attending this event, the workshop, and saw that a lot of our team members are in attendance today. So thank you all for what you're doing and how we're continuing to progress. Next slide. So like I said, we're continuing with 5 watershed studies in the San Joaquin Basin. The 5 watersheds where we're studying flood managed aquifer recharge concepts: Calaveras, Stanislaus, Tuolumne, Merced, and Upper San Joaquin. Within Upper San Joaquin, there's actually 3 operable reservoirs. And we're working with a group of partners, which is shown in the next slide. So this slide shows again the 5 watershed studies that we're studying, and their corresponding groundwater subbasin, and then our local partners that we're working with, and our regional partners. You can see somewhere between 1 and 7 local partners within the watersheds, and then in addition to that, some regional partners who have been an important part of the studies as well, as they have operational authority for either flood operations of facilities, or are especially informative related to forecast and informed reservoir operations. Next slide. All right, so these are kind of the core objectives of the watershed studies. So this is really asking, we're trying in these studies to ask the question, what if you did this at scale? And specifically at watershed scale. So we're looking at, if you had a program in each one of these watersheds of doing recharge and combining it with other actions, what kind of results would you get? So we're assessing and quantifying. First of all, we're doing that in a couple steps. We're assessing and quantifying vulnerability to climate change. And then we're also assessing adaptation performance. So we're looking at a couple of what we call flood managed aquifer recharge adaptations. And then we're hoping to provide a foundation to support these kind of watershed scale flood MAR implementations. And we're really interested in kind of doing what we call multi-sector planning, and hoping that folks can think about what it would look like to do multi-sector implementation as well. So we're looking at 3 water management sector categories. So when we're assessing vulnerability to climate change, we're assessing in flood risk, we're assessing in water supply, both surface and groundwater, we're assessing in ecosystem performance as well. And then when we do the assessments for the adaptation performance, same thing, we're looking for benefits and effects in these 3 categories as well. Next slide. These are the 2 adaptations that we're working we're looking at. So we have a linked set of models that do the assessments for us. The first one is derived from the state streamlined permitting process. And so we're applying that 90-20 methodology that has meaning to most of you, I think. And we're asking the question, if you did this at watershed scale, what kind of performance could you get? And then all the way to what kind of result do you get in the aquifers. And then we have another strategy called iFirm, Integrated Forecast Informed Resources Management, and it is a version of Forecast Informed Reservoir Operations. And in this iFirm concept, we're strategically integrating FERO and managed aquifer recharge. And we're doing that, again, in order to try and get benefits in those 3 categories. And so, like I said, that creative team has done some great work in figuring out how we can provide benefits in the 3 water management categories. Next slide. We're doing a lot of analytical work here, and that work is pretty amazing and impressive and comprehensive. So we're looking at 182 metrics in these watershed studies. We've divided those into the categories: watershed conditions, flood risk, groundwater, surface water, ecosystems, and flood MAR, so recharge. And then we have 174 reporting units, because different water management sectors are interested in different reporting areas geographically. And so you can see the list there of all the different reporting units that we have. And then, go ahead and advance. And, you know, the metrics in the reporting units get you to 1,600 metrics. We have 3 strategies, so kind of a baseline assessment, and then 16 climate assessments. We have 100 continuous years of hydrology. And so just at the annual time step, that's almost 8 million data points that we have as results. Again, across those 3 water management sectors. Some of the models that we're using go as short of a time step as 3 hours, because we want to be able to speak in an informed way in the area of flood in particular. And so you can imagine the data gets a lot more extensive than that, but a lot of data, and we're hoping that all that data will be informative and compelling. We think that the data we're already looking at data that is both informative and compelling about the potential for these kind of adaptations. Next slide. And here's kind of where we're at. We've had 4 out of, well, we have our final workshop with study partners next week. So we're meeting with each of the partnership groups. We're going over results. we're giving them draft documents to review before we go public with those documents. So a final workshop and then drafts to our partners next month, and then their review and comments back to us in May, and then our publication date is in fall of this year. And that's it. I'd be glad to take any questions if folks have any.
Thanks so much, Jim. Perfect
Yeah.
timing for publication in alignment with our forum event. Oh, there you are. Now we can see your face.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Any questions for Jim? Okay, not yet. But I'll let you know if anything comes through the chat. We'll keep an eye on that. All right.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, we forgot this one. Well, we spoke to this, but. do you want
Yeah,
to-
we've already seen that actually. Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, next up we have Rochelle Youngs from Sustainable Conservation, going to tell us about a few things that SUSCON is working on.
Great, thanks, Megan. Good morning, everyone. My name is Rochelle Young, and I'm the Senior Director of the Water Program at Sustainable Conservation. And today I'm really excited to share how Sustainable Conservation is recharging California. Next slide. Okay, and one more. Thanks. Today I'm going to be sharing where we've been as a community with particular emphasis on-farm recharge. Next, I'm going to cover what we're up to at Sustainable Conservation, and lastly, where we're going as an organization. Next slide. First up, where we've been. These are recent findings from PPIC's study. Camiar put a link in the chat, but this is Replenishing Groundwater in the San Joaquin Valley 2024 update. Go ahead and hit next. First, we learned that on-farm recharge went from an experimental to a mainstream practice. This is really stunning, particularly since this was just 12 years ago that we first started working on on-farm recharge with Don Cameron in 2011. 6 years after that time, on-farm recharge really exploded to 260,000 acre feet. Another 6 years later, in 2023, that number nearly doubled to 493,000 acre feet. Next. Second, we learned that preparation at all levels really made the difference for when that water was available. I think we all know that recharge is not just a wet year activity. There's lots of preparation to do in the dry years too, which include developing the right policy frameworks, developing incentives, funding sources, and helping to promote grower awareness. So all of these things were really made 2023 such a successful year. Next. Finally, we learned that 2023, yes, it was an amazing year for recharge, and we also learned that we can do better. So there still remains an enormous opportunity to capture more water in wet years. Next slide. Next, I'd like to share a sampling of Sustainable Conservation's current projects. So first up, go ahead and hit next for me. Thanks. Jim just touched on this. We're working to finish up the DWR watershed studies, which show the effect of climate change and the effect to which recharge can help mitigate some of those impacts. We're also, as we're thinking about wrapping these up, strategizing how to communicate those findings to relevant stakeholders and how we can implement the recommendations. Next. We're also working to promote sub-basin-wide collaboration for recharge, including ways that we might evaluate opportunities using the groundwater recharge assessment tool in Merced and Turlock. Next. We're currently working on an application for an MLRP project for the community of Fairmead, and this would be for a multi-benefit recharge basin. Next. We're working also on developing water quality guidance for recharge with the Technical Advisory Committee as part of work that we're doing for DWR. Next. And we're also working on updating our incentive survey, and this is a broad partnership that we have with the Almond Board of California, DWR, and the Floodmar Network. And next. And finally, we're working on studying the effects of cover cropping on recharge outcomes. And this is a partnership that we have with the American pistachio growers. So we have lots of exciting work happening, and this is really just a snapshot of some of the current work that our amazing team at Sustainable Conservation is doing. So next, I'd like to share where we're going as an organization. Next slide. And these are some of the strategies that we have as an organization to scale recharge in the coming years. So first, go ahead and hit next for me. Thank you. We've seen the impact that partnerships and collaborations have. They truly are so impactful, and we're better together. So we'll be doubling down on developing partnerships across agencies, industry associations, and others to scale on-farm recharge. Second, we'll be promoting the adoption of incentives. There's been a lot of development and innovation in developing incentive programs, especially for on-farm recharge. And these are really important to scaling on-farm recharge. We've seen a lot of people doing this on a voluntary basis because they know it's the right thing to do. But to get this at scale, we think that incentives are going to be what unlocks that opportunity. So we'll be working to encourage the adoption of incentives as well as monitoring and measurement practice. And third, and this is really important for sustainable conservation, we'll be working on advancing multi-benefit recharge. And for us, this means focusing on recharge that has drinking water or ecosystem benefits as well. And this is important for us because it's in alignment with our mission to steward our water for the benefit of people and nature. So we really hope to have an outsized impact and achieve multiple benefits with groundwater recharge. Next. So thank you so much for your time and attention. And if you'd like to discuss any of our current work and strategies, I'd be delighted to chat with you more. So please reach out. Thanks so much, and back to you, Megan.
Thanks, Rochelle. And actually, before we go from Sustainable Conservation's update, one of your colleagues, Rochelle, was interested to, I think, offer one more.
Sure thing. Rochelle, you want to hop on?
Hi there. Can anyone see me?
Yeah, we can see you.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Rochelle Rogers, agronomist for Water Team for the Future at Sustainable Conservation. And we're currently conducting some work with our partner, DWR, some contractual work with Jenny Marr, or through Jenny Marr assistance. What we're looking at is the management of on-farm recharge, to reduce potential crop health risk. And in our experience providing on-farm recharge technical assistance to farmers in the field, we often get the question, how long do I apply water to the field, or when do I close the turnout gates to stop the flow of water to avoid plant health problems? So to inform our technical assistance to farmers, we've developed a crop compatibility calendar, acronym CCC, which is informed by the DWR integrated water flow model demand calculator, IDC, acronymed IDC. The CCC provides the daily maximum recharge amount to be applied to a field parcel based on the analysis of SAGB soil categories and crop land use, as well as crop biological processes and necessary cultural operations to produce a crop. The CCC application rates avoid soil saturation in excess of 75%. And it calls for dry down intervals between successive 5-day recharge events to ensure adequate soil oxygen for plant health. So what we're doing right now to assess and improve our guidance, we are comparing the modeled applications in the CCC to actual on-farm recharge events with data provided by on-farm recharge pilot partners. So our plan and goal is to determine how well the model fits the actual water applications in the field at several on-farm recharge sites. And that's what we're currently doing, and been a big help working with, who is it? Flores Lopez, the DWR agronomist who has really helped us put together this IDC concept modeling that is informing the CCC calendar that Suscon has worked on since working with Don Cameron back in 2011 up to date. So we've been working on the CCC for about 7 years, and I just want to welcome and reach out to all the technical assistance professionals out there to join in and help us, do this critical truthing work so that maybe we can have something that is useful for farmers, because currently there are a lot of farmers just this season. We did recharge down in Tulare Valley at a pistachio field up to the 15th of March, and the grower was really concerned about, hey, is this going to cause problems? Am I going to have health problems, for example? And I get that question all the time. That's it. And maybe some of my colleagues, Daniel or Roshni, can add.
Thanks, Rajal. And I think we might get you back, hopefully, for maybe a full LunchMart presentation later in fall, or maybe something at the forum events. There's a request. I don't know if you have a link to the CCC, but there's a request in chat for you if you might share that.
Absolutely. I look forward to it, Megan, at a LunchMart.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
we've got 2 more updates for you, and Adam Hutchinson's actually going to provide both.
Yes, hello everybody. Great to be here with you. I'd like to give you a quick update on forecasted warm reservoir operations at Prado Dam. We were the second pilot project in the state of California. Lake Mendocino and the Russian River was the first. And so basically what I wanted to let the group know is that through the process of working with the Corps of Engineers and CW3 and our project partners, we finally got what's called a minor deviation. There's majors and minors, and the minor deviation for 5 years allows us now to capture more water while we're implementing the full FERO effort through a water control manual update, which is a pretty lengthy, involved process that the Corps uses to update the manual. So we just got approval a few weeks ago to hold water up to elevation 508. That's an additional 5,400 acre-feet of storage. Been a dry year here in SoCal, so not able to take advantage of it this year. We would have been able to do it last year with all the water we had, but we have this for 5 years, and it's kind of a bridging step to allow us to still use FERO and test FERO and improve on it while the water control manual update is being done, where we can hold water to hopefully a higher elevation. We're targeting like 510, 512, which would be another 5,000, 8,000 acre-feet of water. And just to let the group know, the value of stormwater recharge for Orange County is every acre-foot of water we capture in Orange County behind Prado Dam is 1 acre-foot less of imported water that we need to buy to satisfy the demands of our ratepayers in Orange County. So right now that rate of water is about $1,000 an acre-foot. So that 5,400 acre-feet of storage, that's $5 million worth of water if we're able to get that just one time. So tremendous value for Orange County, tremendous energy savings, water savings by having more local supply. So we're going to be launching into the water control manual implementation, and we hope to do that in the next 3 or 4 years, but obviously a lot of changes at the federal level, staffing and the Corps and all that. So crossing our fingers that that doesn't slow us down, but it could. So we're holding our breath a little bit as we go into this process. So that's an update on FERO. I could go to the next slide. Oh, there we go. So yeah, just quickly, the modeling work that we did showed different models that you see in the bottom there and that different elevations that we simulated. So we're shooting for 512. So that's the additional recharge every year just from getting that elevation at an average of 6,000 acre feet per year. That's $6 million worth of water a year over the simulation period. So not every year you're going to get that, but some years you get even more. So next slide. Yeah, that's our target, 510 to 512. And a lot of, environmental issues. The flood control issue is pretty straightforward. There's a lot of capacity at the dam, but it's more the environmental issues and holding water longer and having impact on habitat and endangered species. So that's really the biggest hurdle that we have to wrestle with as we move this forward. Thank you. Next. Okay. On to a different topic. Not sure if you're all aware, but I just want to let you know that the ASCE did develop some MAR standards, next slide, that were published a while back and in 2020, and they replaced an older set of standards that were published years before that. And this really is a great peer review process and gives you kind of a really good description of all the different aspects of a MAR project, starting from start to finish, and includes a lot of case studies. So anyway, you can Google ASCE standards and buy them if you would like. But I wanted to let you know that the group here that put these standards together are in the process of updating them right now. And as we know, in the past few years with FloodMAR and other things, there's a lot of newer technology now that weren't in the original standards. FloodMAR being one of them, reverse tile drains, another method that's being used in farm fields to recharge water, etc. So my goal is to have some of these new methods included in the update. So kind of a call to action for the group. If there are people out there that want to help, please contact me and we can coordinate. I'd love to get some information in there. Doesn't need to be really detailed, just high level thing to consider as you develop a MAR project. So I really want to make this broader in its scope and applicability. So that's it for me. Thanks, Megan.
Adam, thank you. Appreciate all of those updates, and we might actually, well, we're going to hear from Adam in a couple of months for LunchMAR sessions, but we're also thinking about doing a LunchMAR for these updated ASCE standard guidelines as well. Okay, so sorry, I think I accidentally clicked an advanced slide when I was trying to get back to my Miro board on the back end here, but if folks are interested, we just have a few more things to get through today. We've got 15 minutes left. On Miro, here's the 2 questions. I'm just going to put the link back in the chat for you if you want to pop back over there. A space for you to share your FloodMAR project updates and accomplishments and lessons learned. And after you heard a number of those presentations, do you see any connections between that work and your own work? And I just wanted to call out too in the chat. So, and connected to Adam's presentation, looks like there's interest in starting another action team or reigniting the action team around FIRO. And then Aisha from Sustainable Conservation had indicated in chat, building from Rajel's update, that they're proposing to convene another action team focused on developing crop health guidance under recharge conditions. So if FIRO or crop health guidance sound interesting to you, you can contact any of us who are connected to that work. Aisha put contact information in chat. You'll have my contact information. You can use the Miro boards. You can email floodmot.org, our Gmail too. I look at the Gmail. So many ways to find us. All right, so we have just under 15 minutes remaining. Here's the last piece that I wanted to get through with you all since we're here together today. It's 2025 Forum Update and Planning, and I'm going to be pretty fast. So these forum events every other year are really what we consider the network's marquee event. It's really an opportunity for us to share success stories and lessons learned from both wet years and dry years. We just heard today that it went from this concept in 2017, 2018 to a full-on thing. It's being implemented, and the amount of acres being recharged is doubled, tripled over the last several years. So this is such a good place to go deeper. These lightning talks were so fast, you know, we're barely scratching the surface of any of these conversations. Plus, there's so many other conversations to have, other case studies, other speakers to bring in. So that's why we do this. Historically, we've been together for about a day and a half. We meet together, we've got coffee, we've got snacks, we do a little lunch thing, we've got presentations. Sometimes we do some roundtables and work together. And so from the 2023 forum, we had these 5 main takeaways, and we produce recordings and we produce a write-up of all of the forum events themselves. But I just wanted to throw these up on screen for you all because I think they're just as relevant from 2023 as they are today, if you know, not even more relevant. There's still a lot of momentum behind this. So the first one is that California is poised to scale up FloodMAR as a significant strategy for addressing groundwater overdraft, but more work is needed. So you heard some efforts to do that today. You know, the groundwater sustainability agencies, GSAs across the state, have their eye on this. Like, how are we hitting sustainability targets? So this is a tool in the toolbox and a critical tool. Again, validated by today's presentations, partnerships and collaborations among growers, water managers are essential to successful FloodMAR. So how do we expand those partnerships? How do we increase those collaborations? And then FloodMAR itself lends itself to multi-benefits beyond just groundwater recharge and flood protection. You've got ecosystem benefits, you've got community benefits, etc. Also, that state support and coordination across agencies, the more that they can coordinate and streamline, the more effective implementation for FloodMAR becomes, the easier it is to activate. So keeping those communication chains open, telling each other kind of what we need, where we're going, where we're having challenges, where we're having successes, has really been the key to advancing this so rapidly in such a short period of time. And these forum events are a really important space to be able to do that. And lastly, FloodMAR projects are a good investment for California. So how do we want to spend our time together this fall? Here's our final Zoom poll. Let's just do this one really quickly since it's here for us. Launch. Hey, why won't it launch us? Something is wrong here. Okay, launch. Do you plan to attend the 2025 forum event? It's later this year. We haven't set it on a date because we need to know if something else going on at that time, but late October, early November. So do you plan to attend the forum event? Absolutely, wouldn't miss it. You're still deciding, you got to check your crystal ball, see what's on the docket. You're planning to, but you got to lock it in. Not this time, you can't make it, but you're cheering for us from the sidelines. And you'll only come if we've got great snacks and good Wi-Fi. I'm excited to see some absolutelys coming through, and a couple folks who are still deciding, a lot of people who are planning to attend, and I'm sure that it depends on the date. That will be helpful. Just so you know, I'm going to share results out now, just so you can all take a peek. We're hoping to have a date solidified for the forum event within a week's time. So by the first week of April, we should be able to announce the date. Okay. This is a horrible slide. It's very unattractive. I'm sorry about that. But I just wanted to throw these up on screen because we had sent out for about a month a pre-forum survey to our email listserv, and we had, I think, 46 responses as of yesterday, which is pretty great. And so I'm not going to show you the responses to all the questions because some of them ask some preferences on in-person or virtual sessions and networking sessions and things like that. There's interest across the board, so we're going to think about design, but I'm interested also to get feedback in topic areas. So this slide just shows, we looked at the 13 Research Advisory Committee priority topics, and we're wondering what people are interested to learn about. So I just highlighted the ones that came through from the survey that were most popular: recharge and extraction methods, sneaking forward, as number one, and then soil geology and aquifer characteristics coming in secondarily, and then a couple of these others here. The last board on your Miro for today, frame 7, is Forum 2025 planning. So we're looking for feedback there. The questions are, what would make the forum valuable and worthwhile experience? And then what topics or themes are you interested to explore at the forum? So this question that we put forward in the survey was just one way to get some feedback on topics or themes. We also had open-ended responses, and people could just write whatever they were interested in. And this is a quick bar chart of what came back. Also a little rudimentary, but hey, it's okay. People were suggesting conversations on recharge, implementation, and impact. Following that, data tools and technology, planning integration, also interest in permitting policy and regulations, funding and value proposition as well. I'm hesitant to talk through these since we're running low on time, but this was just my first pass really at kind of synthesizing some of our survey responses and really sharing them back to you all, because I would love it if you told me, yeah, we're on point here. I want to talk about recharge, implementation, and impact. Or if you're like, that survey response doesn't really represent what I'm interested in. I'm not feeling super supportive of what you have on screen. I'm suggesting this other idea. I want to hear it all. We're going to put together a forum planning team, also open for volunteers, that are going to help design the agenda based on feedback from the survey, based on feedback from the Miro boards and from you all today, and come up with a design of a plan so that we talk about what you want to talk about, right? So recharge and implementation came through as a common theme. People are looking to see some case studies, talk about barriers, impacts on crops, technical and project examples. So always people love real world examples and lessons learned. Planning and integration, some comments are we need to better embed FloodMAR into planning frameworks at the local, regional, and institutional levels, and also continuing to build on momentum from success stories. Okay, data tools and technology, there was interest in learning about tracking methods for recharge and water migration using remote sensing tools. How can we develop some shared methodologies, things like that. Always, of course, interest in that permitting, policy, and regulation area. There was some frustrations with permitting and regulatory complexity, but hey, that's not new. That's always tough, right? There's always some hurdles there, but we have worked to encourage streamlining of that, like we, the global we, so we can keep improving. There's always room for improvement. Let's talk about it. Funding and value proposition, how can we quantify dollar signs, broader benefits of recharge, and unlock new funding? This connects directly, all of these conversations connect directly back to the work that the action teams are doing. Okay, general takeaways. We want practical information. We want alignment across planning, permitting, and measurements. We want to figure out how to scale up. Tell me, how does this sound for you? Does that sound right? Are you interested in it? Are you interested to share your work at the forum? Are you interested to sit on a panel and debate and talk to other people at the forum? Would you like to join the forum planning team? Planning team members are helping with design of the event itself and also with some sponsorship outreach. So we do have funding for the event, but it's not 100% funded. So we need some contributions. So we're looking for that too. So tell me, either in chat, in the Miro board, all the things. I'm a broken record about all of the ways that you can share. Love to hear from you. We're going to gather together. I'm going to first meet with our network coordinating team, and we're going to pull together this forum planning team in the coming weeks. Select a date for later this fall, and we're going to see you there. It's going to be great. Okay, last couple of minutes. Closing reflections. I want to just thank everyone for dedicating your time and playing along with our Zoom polls and our Miro boards and contributing and really celebrating each other's work. It was so good to connect. I just have this quote from Karen Ross. Everyone knows who Karen Ross is, I'm assuming, CDFA secretary. She was our keynote speaker at last forum. And I just wanted to close this out with this quote here that for her, Floodmar is the solution that provides the hope, proves that solutions are on our land if we work together and are willing to take an integrated resource management approach and think about all the multi-benefits. So I think that's a beautiful piece to close with. But I don't want to be the last person you hear from. Can I open it up for coordinating team members, for network members, from anyone? Closing remarks, thank yous. Happy birthday to Wendy. Some shout outs coming through in chat. Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate you meeting with us today. Again, thank you for your time. We're going to leave the Miro boards open for, let's just keep it a couple of days. You know, I'll close it down next week, extract the findings there. I'm going to scan through this chat. I'm behind on the chat since I had some multiple screens open, but we're going to make some connections. We're going to get you connected to the action teams that you're interested in. And we hope to see many of you next week, Wednesday, April 2nd, for our next Lunchmar event.
Hey, Megan, they're asking about the slides.
Oh, slides. What do you want to do with the slides? Do you want me to email them out?
We could put them on the Miro. We could email them out. We could put them at the hub. There's a lot of choices. Maybe we can do all those things.
Do all the things. Yeah, let's share the slides. I'll get an email out. I can't share them right now. They're in SharePoint, and I will definitely mess that up before we close out in 60 seconds. So I'll have to download them, compress them. It's a huge file, but we'll get them out to you. All right, everyone has the rest of the day off. Woo! Happy Friday, folks. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks all.
I'm just going to leave the meeting room open for a minute so I can copy the chat, but see you guys later.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Megan. Great job.
Yeah, definitely copy the chat. There's some really good nuggets in here.
Hi, Daniel. Good to see you.
Hey, Mike. I'm just reading through these comments too.
I'm happy some comments came through last. Let's see.
It's a special place that pulls you and Camyar out of a retired Friday.
We've got a lot invested in this effort.
Yeah.
All of us.
Oh yeah, more focus on multi-benefits. Oh, wait, I love that. It's great. Tools, cool. Oh, that was nice, Justin from Farm Bureau's comment. He's pretty new to the network.
Hmm.
Gretchen needed an option for depends on location and state travel restrictions.
Oh, yeah. There's that.
You know.
A lot on multi-benefit. It's good.
Yeah. Mike, you asked a good question if the lightning talks are on the hubs as case studies. I don't think so. I don't know that we've gotten many new case study uploads in a while.
That seems like a hub action team action item,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we can reach out to those people. I mean, they have to fill out the form for us and give us the content, but we can hunt them down.
Yeah. Make the form, fill it in based on what we heard today and ask them to correct it, that kind of thing.
Yeah, we can give it a start.
Yeah. Give them a leg up. I was just trying to figure out where you guys were all looking at stuff.
What do you mean?
Were you looking in the chat or were you looking at Miro?
I'm looking in the chat. I haven't
Oh, I
looked
see.
yet.
Got it.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at too.
Well, I was worried I was like, oh no, I gotta jam on this forum stuff.
You did a great job summarizing it really quickly.
Yep.
That forum, honestly, the input through the survey I thought was actually pretty helpful.
Me too.
Yeah.
Last time we did a survey, we only got, I think, like less than 20 responses, and I like had to pull teeth from the coordinating team. And this time we got like 40 something so far.
It's still open or no, the survey?
It's still open. It's still open. Yeah. I mean, I've sent the survey link out again when I sent the meeting reminder for this workshop. So a few more responses trickled through.
Maybe we should drop the survey link in the Miro board for the people that are still thinking on it.
Sure. Can you do that? Do you know how to? Let me find out how to do that.
I think I could do that.
Megan, as you look through the chat comments, there's one thing I'm noticing here is there's a lot about sort of floodplains, multi-benefit, and I'm not seeing that popping up in the Miro board as much. So people might be using the chat to make the comments, but not putting it on the Miro board. So seemed to resonate with several people. I don't know if they're offering to help out or if they're just interested in the topic.
I would love to do a working session where we tell everybody who thinks first about floods, go over to that table. Everyone who thinks first about recharge, go over to that table and write down how your thing can be multi-benefit. And then bring everybody back together and say, who has something that the other team didn't think of, right? Because I think the flood folks, it was so exciting to hear flood folks today talking about like, we're doing this to the benefit of our mission. And that's to me, the space of the most potential growth. Is helping more flood folks say like, oh yeah, we can find people who want this water and give it to them so we solve our problem. Yeah.
Yeah, the watershed studies are really showing that too.
Yeah.
With climate change, it's just going to become a critical factor. It's how to manage the flood water.
That seems like it could be a cool interactive thing to do at the forum event.
It is. Get people walking around the room.
Yeah. I need to write that down before it leaves my mind. I have so many things open on the screen right now. Hold on.
I'm going to sign off. It's great to see you all.
Yeah, good seeing you. Enjoy your weekend, Daniel.
Daniel.
Good to see you too, Daniel.
Yeah, I miss all of our interactions, but great. I will definitely pop in more. I realized that the lunch Mars fell off the calendar. They're not coming out as invitations anymore, I don't think.
The whole Zoom link thing got reset, and so now it doesn't require registration, but I keep sending the calendar hold as an attachment. You just have to import it yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll look for those.
Let me know if you want me to.
I've entered them all during the session. I looked at the schedule.
Okay, cool.
I got them now. All right. See you again soon.
See you, Daniel.
Thanks, Daniel.
Bye.
Yeah, nice job, Megan. That was a heavy job on your part. Nice work.
Glad it came together. Come on, screenshotting. I don't like how when you export the chat, it just does it in like a text file, and it's really unattractive and hard to sort through. You know, I wish that it was formatted, so I'm taking screenshots. But Mike, Marisa, thank you. Mike, you did such a nice job with setting the stage. I'm glad that was you and not me. Marisa, you did a nice job in the RAC RNDD updates.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm glad it went well because as Marisa will attest, in the moments before I was supposed to go on stage, I said, I am unprepared. This is entirely improv.
But you did such a nice job improving, and you know this stuff so well. So it's easy. It's almost better if you riff it, you know?
Yeah, that's certainly true about me. I can over prepare for things and then I'm less good. I also go out of body when I'm doing it, so I actually can't. I don't notice what's happening. I don't remember it at all. Yeah.
I get that. I get that.
Yep.
Well, I loved it. It was great.
Well, good. Glad to hear it.
Accordingly.
Yeah. Same. I mean, I did 5 minutes. You did like 90. So nice work.
No, oh, I need to go refill my water bottle. I'm like, you know how you get parched.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. All right. We'll see you around next time.
Have a good weekend.
Hey, maybe maybe the Zoom export fed to an AI can produce a formatted version.
A formatted version?
Yeah, if you grab the Zoom chat export and you give it to ChatGPT and say, can you format this for
Oh.
me? It might give you back something that is better. It may not be perfect, but it might be better than the raw.
Ooh, I'm gonna try that. Cool.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay. See you later.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.